Musician Dylan Swinson is learning a lot about self-acceptance and love through his latest album that will be released later this week. I sit down one-on-one with Dylan for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and download my free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Dylan Swinson.
Oh, Quintin! Hey! How are you, dude?
I'm doing great.
Good to see you, man. How are you?
Likewise.
Dude, it's great that we have a Perel here machine. I can actually shake your hand.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. A little busy, a little stressed, but that wouldn't have it any other way.
Any other way? Who else is Dylan Swinson these days?
Who else is Dylan Swinson? Well, as of right now, is a Real South Records. I recently signed a record deal with Real South Records back in November to release my first full-length album, which will be out this upcoming Friday on March 20th. And the founder, DJ Edwards, and I, we've known each other for well over 2 years now. It all goes back to when we first met at the Charleston Music Con back in 2017. It was like this coveted convention that all of my friends were a part of, and I was like, if I could only be a part of that. And then the next year I got in, and I was like, yeah, I got to be with the cool kids. And I met DJ and Kaylin Oyer, who also works at the Post and Courier, Charleston scene.
Right.
And one time, they had this podcast called The Fringe, where they showcase South Carolina musicians, and I think at some point they did some from North Carolina as well. Then one time, their guest canceled on them, and then DJ called me up last minute. It's like, hey man, you want to be on The Fringe? I know you just did a single. And this was 2 years ago when I released Run With Me.
Right.
And so I went on. It had the time of my life. We had some fun, and me and DJ, we stayed in contact ever since. We just hung out, became really good friends. Told him like, hey man, the new album's almost finished. And he's like, cool. Let me know when it's finished. I'd love to listen to it. We'll see if we can get you signed. I'm like, what? No. Okay. And then all of a sudden, here we are.
And what is the biggest difference between 2 years ago and right now when you think of the world of music?
In the world of music, the difference between 2 years ago and then right now, it's like I'm gonna have to think about this one. For me personally, it's definitely it was a lot of growth. It was a lot of struggle. It was a lot of overcoming some bad emotions, especially with the passing of my very dear friend Richard Bachschmidt.
Right.
It was like a huge loss to the Charleston community. And as soon as I heard the news about him, I was just down easily, and I just didn't find any inspiration to write any music, and I went like a whole year without writing music, and it really took a toll on me, because I lost a very good friend of mine and somebody who meant so much to me, and not only to me, but everybody else in the whole music scene. And then of course it comes back to DJ, because like I always find myself to be, I don't know if anybody else feels this, but I feel like I'm most depressed in the month of December, because it's Christmas and you have to worry about getting everybody a present, which it takes a toll on your wallet, because it's a lot different now than it was as a kid.
Yes.
But with that and and then just everything that just happened through that year 2 years ago, I got together with DJ for a long while, and we just started talking. He was like, no dude, like you gotta take care of yourself, just like write a journal or something, man, everything's gonna be alright. And like he was definitely a friend that I needed at the moment when I needed a friend at the most. So it was definitely a great sign of encouragement, because the very next year, starting January, I got that spark back. And I got the spark back, and I just started, okay, I'm just going to work hard. I'm going to start booking some more bar and restaurant gigs and try and finish recording this album. So I feel like that's what everybody does. Like they in December, they look back in everything they did in the year, and they feel bad about the things they did, things they haven't done, wish that they could do.
Sure.
And then I feel like as soon as January comes around, the spark of excitement, spark of emotion just motivates them to go do it, and they actually do it. And like, I don't know if it's definitely a change in music wise, but it was definitely a change that I needed personally to get what I needed to do done. Because if I wanted to reach my goals, if I wanted to get this thing out there, I had to believe in myself. I had to stop moping around. I had to stop just waiting on something to change when I had to go out and make it change. And that was it was definitely I'm so sorry, I'm mind blanking right there, but everywhere, like, it really is a point in my life where I look back and I realize, like, I can definitely do this if I just believe in myself, and I can absolutely I'm so sorry, dude.
No worries. It's all good. It's all good. I know that it was hard for you for over the past 2 years to really do anything musically. Was there ever a time that you decided to listen to some other music to really encourage you?
Yes, absolutely. There was stuff like from Julian Baker. She's a musician from Memphis. That she's like a kind of a folk alternative artist, but it's mainly just like her and her guitar and like multiple like effects pedals, and it's just it just rips your emotions out. It makes you feel. It makes you think. It definitely makes you think about stuff. And then I also listen to Jeff Buckley, which is the man that inspired me to be a musician when I was 8 years old. And every now and then, when I just need a spark of excitement or influence, I just go back to Jeff and I just try to remind myself why I did this in the first place. And then some stuff that I grew up with, like Jimmy Eat World, some Blink-182, maybe some new stuff. I also got into some new stuff as well, like this band called Bleachers. I got into the 1975, some Churches, some like new wave stuff that I definitely would like to experiment in the future. Basically, when I write a song, or if I try to make a song that I want to write, I have a specific tempo in mind. Like if I want to make a song that has this kind of tempo that goes like, or if I just like, so I just like go to the loop pedal and I just make that tempo, see what comes with it. Just come like with a little guitar riff or a vocal line or a melody, and most of the time that comes second. I usually write lyrics first, which is frowned upon in this industry. But I feel like for me, writing lyrics first gives me a nice little blueprint of what to do in terms of emotion and speed, and in terms of the melody line as well. So like if you think of a melody line and the word doesn't have enough to go on it to make it there, you can just like hold like whole notes in there, like or whatever. So I feel like that's the beauty of it. It's like you write down what you think and then you just let it be.
During the time that you were really, really down, if you could go back to then to right now, what would be the title of that song?
But then to right now, it would probably be something like, I think I already wrote a song like this. I wrote a song called 28. Because, like, I'm 27 now, and all my life I was, like, obsessed with the 27 Club, which is basically a list of musicians that died at the age of 27. Ooh. I know, it's a very hard, it's a subject that not a lot of people like me to talk about, but it's something I always thought about because, like, a lot of famous musicians were like Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and like, yeah, because like 28 is basically, it was a song that I wrote about like missing this person that's gone, and then thinking about my current situation, and just thinking about, you know, if I make it to 28, it's because you have if I make it to 28, it's that you used every bit of power you had to make it so that you could stop me from doing what I was going to do. But I don't really have suicidal thoughts. I don't. I think about it, but I don't do it. It's just like, you get down sometimes. It's not fun, but it's definitely something that definitely happens. It's like you think about, well, are people really going to miss me when I'm gone? Or am I really that liked? Or do people really appreciate me? Something and they're awful thoughts to have. It really is. But it happens. It really does. And sometimes I can use it to make a song out of something if I think real hard about something. But most of the time it's just me sitting around wasting time and feeling sorry for myself. And that's something I wish I could kick. I know I can't help myself, but it's definitely there. But the beauty of it is, for me, anyway, I can't speak for anybody in particular itself, but I'm able to take some emotion, I'm able to take feelings and take visions or dreams and create something out of them, like write down words or make music out of it. And that's kind of the beauty of being a musician, especially when you mean it to be something else and then it connects with somebody and they think about it in a totally different way. And I feel like if you can create a song that has completely different meanings to everybody, then you've absolutely succeeded.
I want to go to your album that's coming out soon.
Yes.
How are you as a musician processing this upcoming release?
I'm very excited about it. I try to make the music in this one is a lot more positive. It's a lot more positive than I just described everything. But yeah, it's like poppier, it's upbeat, it's got some fun lyrics, it's got some inspirational lyrics in there. And it's definitely a record I'm very proud of, as opposed to like my two previous DPs, which were both concept records. This full-length album doesn't have concept at all. It's just a group of songs that I feel like really represent who I am and what my musical taste is and what I want in a debut album. Like, either I want a nice little pop rock song or a punk song or a inspirational anthem or a piano ballad. Because like, even though I'm a rock guy, I like soft songs. I love soft songs, man. I really do. So there's a lot of everything in there. It's like bipolar as heck album. That's what I like to call it.
As a matter of fact, the City Paper says the song's uplifting message, meaning Love Yourself, You Overcame, which was released on February 21st, is an uplifting message that is draped over an early 2000s pop rock song.
Yes.
Why pop rock?
Because that's what I grew up with. It was what I was raised in. It was like my father was in the Air Force, and we moved to Delaware when I was 13. And while we were up in Delaware, I definitely feel like alternative rock, pop punk, and pop rock were like big in the school scenes, and they were like listening to like Fall Out Boy and All Time Low, My Chemical Romance, Blink-182. And it was definitely a different culture up there than I assume down here would be, because I feel like here in Charleston, South Carolina, I believe people are a lot more drawn to like the southern and the folk and the bluegrass type of music, and up there was like a bunch of city music. So I feel like if it hadn't have been for that move to Delaware, I would have been a completely different musician today. Absolutely.
What type of musician will you be in the next 5 years, say?
Probably the same. But no, I just hope to be a musician that isn't afraid to try new things, because I'd love to try different subjects, try different moods, try different sounds, like, because I get bored really easily.
Okay.
I can, but it wouldn't mean anything. I mean, if I just try the same sound or the same chord progression again for different songs, then I kind of feel like that's a cop-out. Like, I know I'll have some of those songs that I'm really proud of, but as the most part, I really try to do something different. I try to write about different things. I try to have different moods, different sounds, different influences. And if I'm able to do that without alienating anybody, then I am absolutely in the clear. Like Beck, he changes styles frequently. He went from like alternative rap to disco to folk to indie pop. So Beck has been all over the map. So I definitely love to do something like that in the same vein as Beck.
How do you hold to be on the map musically?
Well, to be on the map musically, probably with a thumbtack. But yeah, like, you know, my overall goal is just to make a living doing music.
Sure.
I don't really care who listens or if you care to listen.
Yes.
But if you care to listen to and you really enjoy what I like to do, then that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you on the ride. But being able to do this is an absolute dream, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And the fact that I get to go there, I get to express myself, I get to have fun doing what I love, whether people like it or not. It's definitely a blessing, and I definitely would not trade it for anything.
Anything. And let me get back to the album. Which one of those songs do you like personally?
My personal favorite, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. I think the very last track, No One Like You, that piano ballad that I was talking about. It's
Right.
like a power ballad, but it's like the first song I wrote on a piano. And it's definitely my first professional recording love song, if you can call it that. And it's the way that it just builds and builds and gets to this epic climax now where everything's just in your face, and then within the last few seconds it just comes back down. It takes you for a ride and then just brings you back where you started from. It's just like I feel like it's definitely gonna pull people's heartstrings because it definitely does mine.
Yeah, and you talk about starting from the beginning. I know obviously you began playing the guitar at the age of 10 in obviously your hometown of Somerville.
Yes.
You were inspired when your mother would play some of her favorite CDs while dropping you off at school.
Yes.
And those included Better Than Isra and all these other locations, and
Yes.
obviously musicians. If you could play some of your albums to your mom right now, what songs would you play?
Well, she's already heard everything I've ever recorded, so she's basically my test audience. Like if I come up with a demo, I let her listen to it, and then she tells me what she thinks and what I can improve on. Sometimes I'll listen to it. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, whatever. But yeah, she's definitely raised me to listen to like alternative rock, 80s rock, stuff from The Cure, Better Than Ezra, Edwin McCain.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry if I offend anybody. I'm a lot more of a Edwin McCain fan than a Hootie fan. I'm so sorry. But yeah, and I feel like I definitely got my taste of music from her. And you know, if she doesn't like anything, she would tell me. And if she does like it, she would not shut up about it. So every single song that's on this album is mother approved.
That is so amazing.
Absolutely.
Well, Dylan Swinson, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you, Quintin. I'm surprised I'm still here.
Yes, sir. To the grace of God, you're here.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And keep up the good work.
Absolutely. You too.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, my friend.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.